From the moment Park Bo-gum and Kim Yoo-jung stepped onto the red carpet that evening, something felt different. The event was supposed to be a simple industry gathering, a reunion of actors, directors, and executives. But the atmosphere shifted the second the two appeared together, walking side by side after months of rarely being seen in the same frame. Cameras clicked, fans screamed, and within seconds, social media lit up with speculation. It started subtly. Yoo-jung had arrived in a stunning off-shoulder dress, elegant but delicate in design. She was surrounded by reporters bustling forward for interviews, and Bo-gum took a step toward her, not dramatically, not with any theatrical flair, but with a quiet, instinctive movement. He guided her gently by the arm, positioning himself between her and the approaching crowd, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Fans watching live streams didn't miss it. That one gesture immediately became the highlight of the night. As they moved further down the carpet, Bo-gum kept glancing at Yoo-jung, not in a way that drew attention, but enough that anyone studying the footage could see his focus was split. He would smile at the cameras, wave, then check Yoo-jung's footing, check her comfort, check whether she needed space or warmth or a barrier from aggressive photographers. A few times, when flashes intensified, he lifted his hand slightly, shielding her eyes without even thinking. That clip alone went viral within minutes. Inside the event hall, things became even more interesting. Attendees noticed that while they didn't walk attached at the hip, they remained within arm's reach. When Yoo-jung excused herself to greet an actress from another table, Bo-gum watched her leave with a quiet smile before subtly adjusting himself to make sure she remained in his line of sight. People sitting near them whispered that Bo-gum seemed unusually attentive tonight, leaning in each time Yoo-jung spoke, even laughing in that soft, almost shy way he used to during their 2016 drama promotions. The turning point came when Yoo-jung briefly stepped onto the stage to present an award. Fans in the audience recorded everything. As she walked, her heel caught the edge of a cable on the floor. Bo-gum shifted up from his seat before anyone else reacted, his face tightening as if prepared to run to her. She steadied herself, smiled, and continued, but the camera caught his expression, the worry, the reflex, the instinct to protect. And that moment quickly became the clip fans replayed over and over. After the ceremony ended, guests began to mingle, and rumors spread that Bo-gum had approached Yoo-jung's manager to ask if she needed help getting through the back exit, noticing how tired she looked by the end of the night. Staff members later commented privately that he had waited by her van longer than expected, making sure she safely got inside before heading to his own vehicle. But what truly ignited the internet was the final video. A fan standing near the parking area captured Bo-gum holding an umbrella over Yoo-jung while it drizzled lightly. She tried taking it from him, but he shook his head and continued shielding her, walking her all the way to her car door. They exchanged a soft laugh, the kind people share when they forget the world is watching. The moment was small, but incredibly intimate in its simplicity. Fans called it the realest thing they've seen between them in years. By midnight, hashtags about their chemistry were trending worldwide. Comment sections filled with people saying the same thing: something has changed. Whether it was years of friendship deepening naturally, or a bond that never really faded since the drama that first made them iconic, Bo-gum's quiet protectiveness had reignited an old flame in the fandom's heart. Behind-the-scenes reporters later shared an interesting detail. Before leaving, Yoo-jung had thanked Bo-gum for always looking out for her, and he replied with a soft laugh, saying, "I always will." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't staged. But those 4 words were enough to send an entire fanbase into a frenzy. In a night full of stars, flashing cameras, and scripted smiles, the most unforgettable moment became the one no one planned. The one fans noticed first. The one that reminded everyone why the Park Bo-gum and Kim Yoo-jung pairing continues to feel timeless, effortless, and just a bit magical, like a story that never truly ended. Park Bo-gum didn't expect anyone to notice it. He thought he was being discreet, standing just slightly behind Kim Yoo-jung during the event, keeping a quiet eye on her movements, making sure she wasn't overwhelmed by the lights, the noise, or the crowd pressing in from all sides. But fans noticed. Cameras noticed. And within hours, the entire internet was buzzing with the same question: why did Park Bo-gum look so protective? It began the moment Yoo-jung stepped out onto the red carpet. She looked stunning, glowing in a soft lavender gown that highlighted her elegance in a way that made the entire venue pause. But what truly caught people's attention wasn't her outfit. It was Bo-gum's expression when he saw her. His smile softened, his shoulders straightened, and even though he wasn't standing beside her yet, his eyes never left her for even a second. After greeting the press, Yoo-jung almost stumbled slightly on the carpet because of the long train of her dress. Before anyone else could react, even before her stylist did, Bo-gum was already stepping forward, subtly guiding her arm and asking her quietly if she was okay. She nodded, smiling shyly, but the moment didn't end there. They moved inside, and Bo-gum stayed just one step behind her, almost like a silent guard. During the event, whenever someone approached Yoo-jung too abruptly, Bo-gum shifted closer. When the lights became too bright, he tilted his body slightly to shield her. When fans began shouting her name loudly, he instinctively placed a gentle hand at the small of her back, guiding her away from the crowd without making it obvious. But what really triggered the online explosion was the backstage footage. A staff member accidentally recorded all the A-listers preparing for the award presentations. In the short clip, Yoo-jung was seated, adjusting her earpiece, looking a little nervous. Bo-gum walked up to her, bent down slightly, and said something quietly. She nodded, but he wasn't convinced. So he gently held her hand for a moment. Not long, not dramatic, just enough to steady her breathing. Fans analyzed his expression frame by frame. His eyes were soft, his voice calm, his posture protective. It wasn't flirtatious. It wasn't showy. It was the kind of behavior people show towards someone they care deeply about, someone they feel responsible for, someone whose comfort matters to them more than their own. When they finally walked on stage together, the chemistry was undeniable. Yoo-jung kept glancing at Bo-gum, as if seeking reassurance, and every time she did, he gave her a quiet smile that said, "I'm right here." Even when they finished the presentation, he let her walk ahead of him, staying behind just enough to ensure she wasn't jostled by other presenters. The internet erupted. Clips spread across every platform with captions like, "He watches her like she's the only one in the room. Bo-gum has always been soft for Yoo-jung," and their bond never faded. Despite years having passed since Love in the Moonlight, it was moments like this that reminded fans of what made Bo-gum and Yoo-jung such a beloved pair. Their connection felt genuine, steady, and untouched by time. They didn't need grand gestures. They didn't need public declarations. It was the quiet moments, those small, unplanned interactions, that revealed the truth. Park Bo-gum didn't expect the cameras to catch it. To him, it was instinct. The moment Kim Yoo-jung stepped onto the event carpet, surrounded by reporters and a surge of fans, he naturally shifted closer. It wasn't planned. It wasn't scripted. It was the same familiar reflex he had back in 2016, the quiet, protective presence that only showed itself when she needed it most. Yoo-jung had been away from public eyes for a few weeks, working on a personal project that kept her offline. When she appeared at the charity gala, she looked radiant but tired. Fans immediately noticed it. She greeted everyone warmly, but there was a fragility to her smile, a softness that only someone who truly knew her would see. And Bo-gum saw it instantly. He didn't hesitate. He stepped closer, positioned himself just slightly ahead of her, creating a barrier between her and the pushing crowd. His hand hovered near her back, not touching, but ready, the way someone acts when their body remembers a person more than their mind does. People caught it. Fans zoomed in. Clips went viral within minutes. But what really set the internet ablaze wasn't just his protective stance. It was the moment they exchanged one quick, quiet glance, a glance that said far more than words could. Yoo-jung whispered something softly, something the cameras couldn't catch. But Bo-gum's reaction was clear. His expression softened, his shoulders relaxed, and he gave a tiny nod that felt like reassurance, understanding, and support, all at once. Someone close to the staff leaked a detail later that night. Yoo-jung had been overwhelmed during rehearsals, feeling the pressure of balancing her return to acting and her personal commitments. She confided in a few close people, but no one expected Bo-gum to show up at the event. He wasn't scheduled. He wasn't on the list. But he came anyway. Some said he came because he wanted to support the cause. Others said he was invited privately. But fans believed something else entirely, that Bo-gum came because he heard Yoo-jung would be there, and he didn't want her to feel alone. Later, When the two were seated inside the hall, the same fan who captured the viral clip recorded another moment. Yoo-jung looked down as flashes from the cameras became overwhelming. Without looking at her, Bo-gum lifted the program booklet slightly in front of her, blocking the harsh glare. It was subtle, respectful, and gentle. The internet called it the most Bo-gum thing Bo-gum has ever done. And when Yoo-jung realized what he was doing, her expression softened in a way that made viewers stop and replay it over and over. It was gratitude, but it was something deeper too, a kind of familiarity that isn't formed overnight. What added fuel to the already burning fire was when the two were spotted exiting the venue. They didn't walk together, but Bo-gum waited near the entrance, lingering just long enough for her to catch up. When Yoo-jung stepped out, he greeted her with a warm smile, and the two exchanged a few quiet words before parting ways. But fans who watched closely noticed Bo-gum didn't leave until she was safely escorted into her car. Protective, quiet, steady, the same way he had always been with her. Within hours, Park Bo-gum Kim Yoo-jung protective moment was trending worldwide. Fans called it the return of their natural chemistry, the one unshakable bond that time never weakened. Industry insiders started whispering too. Some claimed Bo-gum had been in touch with Yoo-jung recently, checking on her often. Others said the two had been privately discussing a possible project, something emotional, something meaningful, something that would bring them back on screen together. But the most surprising piece of information came from an anonymous stylist who worked at the event. She claimed Yoo-jung smiled the brightest when someone mentioned Bo-gum's name. It was a shy smile, soft but full of warmth, like she couldn't hide how deeply she appreciated him. Some fans think this is just the beginning, that maybe, without realizing it, Bo-gum and Yoo-jung are falling back into the same rhythm that once captured millions of hearts. Because sometimes, people who have a natural bond don't need loud confessions or dramatic declarations. Sometimes, protection says more than love can.